This is Steve from Boxing UK, and it is always a pleasure to have our friend of the channel on, Peter Fury. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Steve. It's a pleasure to be speaking with you again.
You're isolating in the hotel, Peter? Have you just getting there?
No, I got here about 11 a.m. this morning, and I've had the COVID thing, and we've got to wait now. So might get it back tonight at 9 o'clock, or they're telling me sometime in the morning.
How did the test go? You're a hard bloke. Did it make your eyes water?
I'll tell you what. I had this one was fine, to be honest. She was quite a gentle young woman. So, but I had one done in Spain. I'll tell you what. I said to this fella, I said, "Hey, I said, mate, I said, you're going ridiculous there, yeah." So he said, I said, listen. He said, "Oh no, I must do it properly." I said, "Well, that's fine." I said, "But stop pushing that thing too far up, yeah." So I'm having it done in this room, and the missus is outside on the seat. Now I've already explained as best I can to this fella, yeah. So he said to me, "I'll try it again." So I tried it again, and I'm not joking. Just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I grabbed his wrist and I jumped up, and I said, "Listen," I said, "that's it. Forget the whole fucking thing, yeah." I said, "I've asked you civilly, mate." I said, "You nearly touched my brains with it, yeah." Anyway, to say the least, he was a little bit shook up. He must have thought I was going to start or something, So Mrs. has walked in. She says, "Oh," she said, what's going on?" Anyway, I said, "This man here," I said, "he's got that thing." I said, "He's pushing it as far as it'll go nearly." So anyway, he calmed down and he done it anyway. I said, "Listen, you're not doing it no more." I said, "That's it, or leave it." Anyway, that was it. But that's the worst one I've ever had. As a matter of fact, when I went for the results the next morning, he come down and he went, "I'm sorry." He said, "I'm pretty new at this." I said, "Well, it's a pity you didn't tell me that before." But anyway, the good thing is, I took the brunt of it. So he done the missus next, and he was quite gentle with her.
But he's still shaking now, Peter.
But it was when they push them things too far up, it's a horrible experience, terrible. But no, fortunately, this one was fine.
Oh, bless him. Right, Peter, you're in the bubble. Savannah this weekend.
Yeah.
I understand she's had a little bit of bad luck and uncertainty this week. Can you talk us through it and bring us up to date?
Yeah, as far as I know, she's got a replacement. The young woman who she was boxing, a team tested positive. So they couldn't. I think they'll have obviously had to have been checked to fly anyway. And I think once they've been checked out, they've came up positive. So they were unable to make the fight. So main thing is everybody's going to be all right. It is only a boxing match at the end of the day. So it's one of them things. So they'll be very disappointed. And but I'm told that she's got somebody else. So the opponent, she looks pretty decent. She's got a good record. She's had plenty of stoppages, and so let's get that fight underway.
Is it just important to get Savannah out and taken over, Peter, rather than not appearing at all?
It's more. This is more than a takeover fight. She's a decent campaigner. She's just she boxed at Emma Kozin, and it looked like she won that fight, to be honest, over 10 rounds. So she's not just a walkover. She's not just anybody. They've done well, actually, getting this opponent in at such short notice.
Can I ask how camp's gone, Peter? First question I have to ask: how's Savannah taken to being the world champion?
She took it in a stride. She's very grounded. She works hard, just as hard as what she's done before. And we've been working on now other things. She's totally, she just keeps perfecting a game. And, she's getting more solid as time goes on. She's a fabulous talent, like I've always said. So I'm looking forward to her performing on Saturday.
And the question that everyone's going to ask, Peter, if she gets through this, and I know Savannah herself doesn't really talk about it too much, but Claressa Shields' question's always going to crop up, isn't it?
Always. That fight's going to happen, if the money's right for Savannah. and the timing's right, she'll take it. Me personally, I want to get Savannah's profile going right up through the roof and make it into a super fight, which it is.
Yeah.
You know, these are, you know, my opinion is Savannah's the best female woman boxer there is out there, because she's in a heavier weight division. She hits like a hammer, you know, and she's very, very excited, to say the least. So I think it's a super fight, and it needs to be built into that fight. And that's the only reason for me, you know, if Savannah doesn't take that fight straight away, because it needs building into what it actually is. It is a super woman's fight. It's probably the biggest woman's fight out there.
Yeah, we spoke to Natasha Jonas a couple of weeks ago, Peter, and she was telling us how Savannah was hitting some of the males, Anthony Fowler, and they were coming out. So
that would be in her amateur days, I think. But yeah, she's a big puncher. She's exciting because she can box, she can punch. You know, she's got all the tools to be a fabulous champion.
Does it happen in 2021, do you think, Peter, the Claressa Shields Savannah fight? I know you're saying that it needs building up.
Yeah, I don't see why not. It could happen, you know, it could happen straight away. It could happen in a fight's time, or let's see. You know, I'm not a promoter, so we'll see what they bring to the table.
And
ultimately, it's down to Savannah. If she's happy with it, then we will go for it. Certainly, she's ready for Claressa Shields. We're not waiting because she needs to improve any, or, you know, that's not what I'm saying for an instant. She'll fight Claressa Shields tomorrow. If basically, the only thing for me, has the fight been built properly yet? Has Savannah been built right yet? And you know, because it is a super fight. And if the money's right, she'll take it.
Absolutely. The last time we spoke about Savannah, Peter, you said you were absolutely certain that she'll become a superstar. She's on the verge, isn't she?
Yeah, and the more the people can see what she can do, you know, the better. Because, you know, that's it. I'm not saying she's the best fighter amongst all women boxers. I'm just saying in that weight division, it's an exciting weight division. It's the biggest women's weight division right now. And, you know, she's the only formidable puncher through all the weights, really. That's what makes her so exciting. You know, so just to be clear, I'm not trying to downplay the other boxers, you know, like Katie Taylor and all of them. They're fantastic boxers, you know. But this is just a different weight division.
Absolutely. Can we ask about Huey? How is he? Has the eye injury cleared up?
Yeah, he's been training. He's back training. He's waiting for a credible opponent and a date. So as of yet, we ain't got one. We ain't got either. So just waiting on it.
Any idea when we can see him out, Peter, timescale wise?
Well, we thought we was going to see him out in early May, but that's not happened for whatever reason. So I'm just waiting to see what the team say and when they're going to get him out there, because he needs to keep busy. To be honest, he's at a training camp, Huey. So I think you know, we was under the impression he was going to box, but I think for whatever reason, and he's not boxing. So I'm going to give him a couple of weeks off, and you know, come back to it again, because he's like I said, he's had a 3-month training camp, sparring partners and everything. So we're just going to give him a break and come back to it. So we haven't got a date, and we're waiting on that.
Yeah, you recently said that Huey's the real future of the heavyweight division. Can you explain what you meant by that, Peter? And do you still have hopes he can become world champion?
Well, you know, Huey is what he is. He doesn't speak much. He just lets his hands do the talking, and you know, he has got a fabulous talent there, and he's improving all the time. You know, his performances, Huey's will get downplayed for some reason, but let me tell you, he's fought the best out there. You know, Marius Wack is no fool. You know, as we know, you know, he's took all top fighters. He's given them hell and high water, and you know, Huey dealt with Marius Wack pretty comfortable. You know, apart from the cut he obtained, but he's improving, and there's a lot more better things. He's improved his game again. So now we're seeing a 26-year-old man coming into his own. So you know, he's right up there. Forget the top 20s, top 30s. He's right in the top 5, top 10 all day long. The only reason he's not shouted upon where people don't mention him because he's not talked about that much. But like I said, he is there and he's ready, and he's just ready to let loose. So as soon as we get a credible fight, he'll be able to show what he's going to do.
And what level are you looking at, Peter, to get him in with next?
Any level, he'll fight anybody. I believe he can beat anybody as well, so it don't matter to me who he gets. Matter of fact, the opponents will get offered, I'm turning them down because I don't think they're good enough to lace his socks up.
So he must be a nightmare to match then, Peter, like you say, because he is a quiet lad, but he's one of those, anybody that gets in the ring with him is going to have a tough night, aren't they?
Listen, he's improved a lot, you know, and like I say, I don't like speaking too much, let's see, but it's a little bit annoying because we want to see Hughie in good fights. I want to see what he can do. You know, looking at before, a kid against a man, but there's a different story today. So he's turned that corner, and he's had some great learning fights as well. So this is the thing, what people's judging him on. They're judging on a young kid coming through and learning against somebody now who's a grown adult, you know, who's got all that experience in the bag. So, you know, let's see. But, you know, it's hard to say because you get, with it being my son, you get criticised a lot because you say, oh, you know, he's your son, you believe in him, but he's not all this, he's not all that. Let's see. Because if anything, I'm harder on him because he's my son. So he's got what it takes. And he will get there for sure.
Good man. Peter, can we talk boxing away from Team Fury for a minute?
Yeah.
I tuned into the BBC commentary of Povetkin White because your good self was on there. What did you make of that fight?
I thought he was good. He done everything right, Dillian, and he got him out of there. He didn't stay against the ropes. I like the way he moved off the ropes. As soon as he went on the ropes, Povetkin come in. You know, he was gone. So he had a good camp, and it showed. It looked well. And Povetkin's an old man. You know, take nothing away from Dillian's win. It's, you know, listen, you're one punch away from disaster with somebody like Povetkin, as what happened in the fight previous. He's dangerous. But Povetkin, he hasn't got the legs anymore. You know, so, you know, he done what he needed to do, and he got the job done very well.
And as a boxing fan, Peter, where would you like to see Dillian next?
You know, I don't know. He's in the heavyweight mix. It's like anything else. There's a lot of politics in heavyweight boxing. All these titles seem to be getting sewn up, and, you know, I don't know. Nobody seems to be fighting. It's a whole lot of bollocks to me, to be honest. You know, good luck to the fella. And you know what it is? Pit them all together and let the best man come out. You know, that's what should happen. You know, IBF, WBC, this belt, that belt, that belt. Should only be one man at the end of it. Let them all fight. Then we'll see who the best is, isn't it?
Absolutely, because as you say, they are all tied up for goodness knows how long, and every day the picture seems to become less clear. How do you see the heavyweight division panning out over the next 12 to 18 months yourself, Peter?
I have no idea because, like I said, I'm not in control of putting these fights on. But you know, as far as I'm concerned, I know as far as Huey's concerned, you know, as a heavyweight, you know, he wants to fight anybody. And when I mean anybody, I don't mean family, by the way, you know, because that's not what I'm saying at all. That would never be the case. But there's a lot of other heavyweights out there, and anybody who wants to step up and has a piece of you, take it. We'll take it, you know. So it's one of them. But I understand why top heavyweights thinking to themselves, well, why do we need Huey? You know, where does that take us? You know, his profile's not that big. He's a danger man. You know, what do we need him for? What do we gain from that? So I get that as well. So, you know, that's up to the team and the promoters to bridge that gap and make these fights possible.
Absolutely.
Whether that be Huey having 8-10 rounders or whatever, I don't care if Huey fights every 4 weeks. You know, he'll get in there, get what it needs to be done.
Anything else caught your eye this year, Peter, in the fights we've had so far?
Let's see. I've got a mind like a sieve, so forgive me, Steve. If you just remind me of the fights, I'll tell you.
We started with Warrington Lara. We've had Kelly Avanesian. Last week we had Cheeseman and Metcalf. And
that was Cheeseman and Metcalf. I've seen that. That was a very. That was definitely one for the. That was one for the fans. That was a good fight to see. Yeah, it was a very good fight actually. You both need maximum credit. Cheeseman done very, very well. But, again, that's okay on this domestic level scene. But when you're stepping up to world level, Cheeseman's got to work on his defence. Because that kind of fighting, on a world scene, you've got to be missing them shots a lot more. But has he got the capability? Listen, he's a tough as teak. He grinds them people down. He's got all the tools in the book. For me, if he just slip a few more of them shots, there's no reason why he can't go all the way, because he's a talented young fighter. Who else? Who else did you say?
We've had Warrington getting beat off Lara, a shock. Josh Kelly, our lad, getting beat off Avanesian.
Yeah, that Lara again. Unknown quantity, come over. Typical tough Mexican, stand in front of him and he's going to do damage. And that's what happened. So Josh Warrington, I'm sure he'll come back again. Has he got a rematch with him, has he?
Apparently so, at Elland Road, Peter, when the fans are back. Seems to be set.
That's a big fight, and I wish him all the best, him and his dad. And it is what it is. I don't think he took him lightly. I think they just went about that fight wrong. They misjudged it, and that's why people saying, he stood in front of him. Let me tell you, that Mexican, I could see as soon as the first round went, with his style and the way he looked to be very easily flowing into the shots and stuff. You can see he's a lot better than people think he is. So, but I'm sure he'll regroup and do what he does best. He needs to throw punches in bunches and move. That's his traits. He's super fit at doing that. Don't need to stand there and be a hero in front of a tough Mexican and who can punch as well. Yeah. So boxing is it's an art at the end of the day. It ain't about who's the toughest and the strongest.
And then last week we saw the end of Carl Frampton's career. Sad way to go in a way, Peter, I thought.
Well, it isn't. You're fighting world champions, and he's been a two-time world champion, hasn't he? He's fought everybody. He's done marvellously well in boxing. He's had some big nights, and he fought a very good southpaw world champion there. That's probably going to do similar to a lot of other fighters. So it was one of them. But let's put it this way. He took a lot of punches there, and he tried to the bitter end, didn't he? So just needs maximum credit. He's got a young family, and like I put a tweet out, and there's life after boxing, especially when you got a young family. He's done what he's done. Let's put it this way: if 90% of the current fighters could do what he's done, then you don't come to be a two-time world champion for nothing. So well done to the fella. He's been a fabulous little fighter, he has.
Well said, Peter. Here. Can we ask you about a couple that's coming up?
Yeah.
First of all, we've got Parker and Chisora in the heavyweight division. How do you see that one going?
50-50 can go either way. Chisora's improved quite a bit. But, Chisora can come in and have off nights where he goes to sleep. So it depends if Chisora's right up for that fight, the same as what he was against Usyk. I think if it's the same Chisora that turns up in the shape and with the desire that turned up for Usyk, he's in with a very good chance.
And Billy Joe against Canelo, that's a hell of an ask to go over to Texas and dethrone Canelo, isn't it?
It is, but he can. He's got all the tools, that's for sure, and he's got a good trainer in Mark Tibbs, so they'll have their game plans. And look, when you break it all down, yeah, he's only a man, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's only a man. So he's, excuse me my language, but I'm sure he'll get in there and say, and listen, with a give a fuck attitude, yeah, and that's it. It's always the best way. Use his boxing skills the best he can. If he's got to have a fight, he's got to have a fight, isn't he? He's had plenty of them. So that's it. Let it rip and put his heart and soul into it. So, and listen, when you got that attitude, you've trained as hard as what he's going to train, yeah, get in there, got absolutely nothing to lose, which does what? Makes you a very dangerous man. So I'm not writing him off at all. I think he'll either put a very good fight up or he could win it. I'm not saying he's going to win it because that's foolish. But I highly rate Canelo. I think he's a great champion. And he's perfected his tools. And again, this fighter's learned, because when he got in with Mayweather, he's learned what it's like to be slipped and slided. So what's he gone and done? He's gone back to the gym and he's mastered that craft himself. This is why fighting all these top fighters gives you that. So he's that's why he's come on, because he's fought the best and he's adapted his own style accordingly, hasn't he? So that's why he's such an elite fighter of what he is. That'll be a good fight, and it's not beyond Billy Joe to do it.
Would you be worried about the judging, Peter?
I think a lot of judges are fucking bent, to be honest. I don't even want to look and think about it. At the end of the day, he's got to do what he's done. I wouldn't bother about the judge anyway. Got to get in there, do his best. Won't even think about it. Because I'm sure when we come up for world title fights again with Huey, which will happen, I'm certainly not going to worry about what a judge is going to think. So,
yeah, we've been there once before with Huey, haven't we?
Yeah, he got robbed against Parker. He beat Parker fair and square. We didn't get the nod on that, and we know why. But I don't want to go into details on it. So it is one of them.
Can I end with a couple of personal ones, Peter?
You can.
A boxing one. You're a genuine boxing fella. What's your thoughts on the increase in the exhibition fights and the YouTubers coming out? Do you see it as good for the sport, or do you think it denigrates it a little bit?
It's good for the money and good for business, because, like you said, somebody's got 50 million followers. And I heard what Mayweather said the other day, and he said, look, the best of fighters has got 4, 5, 6 million followers, whatever you want to say. He said, this Paul, whatever his name is, has got, 30 to 50 million. So when you look at it like that on a business point of view and exposure, then it's a fantastic thing if it works for boxing. But we all know as boxing purists, that kid ain't got a cat in hell's chance against Mayweather. I'd have a better chance myself. It is what it is. It's ridiculous pitting these two together, because it's, people like WWF, don't they? Wrestling and stuff like that. And I'm not saying wrestling's fixed to that extent, because they train hard and all these acrobatic moves they do, it's actually very hard work. Yeah. But a lot of it is staged. So it depends what type of thing that you're into. So people must like to see it. They've got all these followers. But as a boxing man, in perfect honest, I wouldn't give it a toss in the toilet.
You know, fancy it yourself, Peter? The last person we spoke to, Glenn McCrory, he's a few years older than you. He's coming back.
Good luck to him. It's a very hard sport. You know what I like to do? I like to get the fighters having a fight, yeah? I like to go into the missus, have a big steak pie or something, yeah, with chips and peas and whatever.
Good
yeah?
lad.
Have some Guinness, right? Have a glass of wine, put my feet up, and I've got better things to do than all that shit at 50-odd-year-old. Trying to fight back the years. See all these grey hairs, you see these wrinkles are for a reason. Yeah. Listen, I can understand Mike Tyson doing it. I can understand Evander Holyfield doing it, but they're going to get 30 and 50, 100 million pounds, $100 million. Yeah, why not? I'll watch that, because I remember them when I was younger. The stars of the day, aren't they? Yeah. But, other people doing it. Listen, it's a hard sport. So why do you want to put yourself through 6 months of agony for what?
Exactly.
No, I'd rather I'll stick to my training and just get in the fighters where they need to be.
And the Guinness.
And the Guinness, exactly. And a few meat pies and maybe fish and chips and whatever.
Very nice. Peter, the last one's about you. A lot of fans who follow you love the quotes that you give out on Twitter. Recently, you've been coming out with these inspirational and reflective tweets. Now,
yeah.
I know you a little bit, and I've always known you as a real gentleman and what have you, but how does that equate to the Peter Fury that people hear of old? Because we were talking off camera, you've just done a really good interview with Marvin, and you've talked about the old days. So is this a more reflective Peter Fury, or has that side of you always been there?
It's got to be a reflective, it's as years gone by, you learn, don't you? You get wiser. And I sit down in front of me log fire and I just look into the fire and then things come across my mind and, and I say what I think, and I do believe in the blessed Lord, but I'm a truthful man. And there's so many pricks in boxing that tell fucking lies, yeah, and tell a load of shit to be liked and to get famous and all this crap. I can't do with it. If anybody wants to listen to any bollocks, yeah, don't follow me at all. I'd rather have no followers, yeah. Rather tell the truth and go to bed and sleep at night rather than being a fool, you know. So that's the way I see things. I just say things as I say them. You can't. Truth cannot be questioned. It can't be altered. It can't be done anything with. You know. Well, listen, I'm not perfect. We all fall short. I've told many lies when I was a young man. I've done many things when I was a young man. I've done many undesirable things. Yeah, but I've definitely learned by them. And I don't like false people. I don't like people that, you know, money's the god. You know, no substance. So you get millions of pounds or you get money. Listen, and then it's nice to have money. We all need it. We all can't do without it. I understand that. But if that's the end of your life and you've got nothing else, people don't respect money, do they?
Absolutely not.
Real people don't respect it, do they? So there's more to life than that. What's important in life is having good people around you that like you, think a lot of you, and got love for you. That's what's more important, and people you can rely on. But ultimately, I'm a very deep thinker as well, Steve, because I've been in some dire straight positions, and you know, I've been there for quite a lot of people, and when it's come round their turn to be there for me, it's not happened. So I'm a bit of a loner in that regard, because I know I've been in deep water and I can have deep water, but people around me have not done the same back. But that's no fault of theirs. That's just people's characters. But I'm just a bit of a loner in that regard, because I realise, you know, the best you can do is keep out of trouble, give people plenty of respect, and enjoy your family. And do your best. Do your best for young people, you know, like Savannah now. Please God, she'll go all the way. I know she will. And I've got my son. And that's it. I'm happy.
Do you know that you're well loved, Peter? When you read the comments on Twitter,
I'll continue to put the odd quote out like I always do, you know, because I get thinking, especially when I've had a glass of wine or two, I'm dangerous. Yeah.
Which does the more damage in that regard, Peter? A glass of wine or a pint of Guinness?
I don't know either. Now, it's nice to relax in it. Yeah, look, what better is it than going home, yeah? You're with your family, everybody's all right. And you sit there and you have a nice bit of food, nice drink, and go to bed, you know, in the weekend. You know, sleep like a log. You know, so
it is.
That's it. So that don't cost a lot of money, does it?
Indeed. Right, Peter. Taken nearly half an hour up already, and I say I always appreciate your time. Can you just end? Why should we tune in and watch Savannah this weekend?
Because she's the best in her weight class in the whole division, and talks cheap. And when the time comes, Claressa Shields, that's going to be a very good fight. Clarissa's a very good fighter. You know, she is all what she says. She's what she says on the tin. That's why this fight's going to be a mega fight. Yeah, and anything can happen in this fight. But you know, they'll believe in their fight. I believe in Savannah Marshall. So I can't wait to get it on. And believe me, if she's better than Savannah, you know, bring your A game, because that's what I want to see. You know, because I want Savannah to beat the best Claressa Shields out there. So then there's no excuses. There's nothing. And, you know, I'm looking forward to that fight. I've always said the fight will happen. And, you know, I'm not a man to waste words or chat bullshit. You know, that fight's almost there. So that's not looking over any opponent. Savannah's trained extremely hard for this opponent. Yeah, or the one that pulled out or whatever, but for the 10th. She's trained hard. She's bang on weight. And I'm looking at Savannah to put on another clinical performance.
Fingers crossed, Peter. Anything else you'd like to get out there?
I'd just like to thank all the people around me that supported me with the boxing, who's in the background that doesn't get mentioned. Asif Patel, who does tremendous for me in the backgrounds. He helps run the businesses and stuff like that while I do the boxing. And who else is there's Thomas from Applied Nutrition, who's been there from day one. Always been very supportive. He sees Huey on 2 or 3 times a week. And, thanks to Applied Nutrition, because they've helped us tremendously over the years as well. So just everybody like that. Peter Clark, who's a very long-standing friend of mine. And he's doing all the conditioning with Savannah, Huey, Kerry Kays, my old pal, who goes back 25 plus years. So all good people I've got around me, people I respect as well. So I'd like to thank them for all the help they do in the background.
Great stuff, Peter. Peter, last one, I promise you, just it's come to mind. As you know, when we put on YouTube, we've got to put a catchy headline on. And I'm struggling here because we've got bent judges. There's a lot of pricks in boxing. Can you help us out?
Listen, I'll be out of boxing, but you know what the control will do? They'll pull my license in a minute. But if they want it, they'll have to have it. What can I do? I'll just go fatter. I'll just stay at home and eat more fish and chips.
I will not stick that on, Peter. Peter, it's always an absolute joy to speak to you. It's lovely to see you.
And you.
Once this wretched pandemic's out the way, hopefully we'll get down and see you in person soon.
Be nice to see you, Steve. You're always welcome, mate.
You're a superstar. Peter Fury, thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure.